We're now in Pisac here, and we're at the very almost top of the mountains here. And that's the entrance to the Ministerio de Cultura de Pisac.
Who can remember this kind of words? This is the problem. The Pachacutec built Machu Picchu, Sacsayhuaman, Pisac. Pachacutec make this culture to be giant culture. So to have the real information, we have to wake up the Incas. We have to go back in time, you know, to ask these people why they built. For example, just a quickly question or quickly information. Look at these terraces. Seriously, they make giant mistakes. All the guidebooks, when they say just agricultural Inca terrace. At that time, those people, they were planting potatoes. My family used to plant potatoes on Inca terraces. I was planning already. I say, when I am gonna be, I will have my own family, my own children. Those terraces, it will be mine. Those terraces will be my brother Max terraces. Now it belongs to the government. The same thing happened. It belongs to the state. That's the time when the professionals they arrived and they found potatoes, some other crops growing, and they went straight to the point without touching the water. And they just say agricultural terraces. That's why on the way up I show you the terraces behind of those terraces. Is this narrow, half meter wide, 1 meter wide terraces. How many potatoes you're gonna put there? Not that many. That's one. The terraces are in many places narrow. And I want to remind you, in Inca days, they were not that many like nowadays. Until 15th century, Incas, they were a small culture. You understand what I mean? They were tiny culture, rustic culture. But they were surrounded by incredible cultures. One of that culture is Nazcas. Did you read about Nazca lines?
Yeah, mm-hmm.
What is Nazca lines? The best astronomers until now. You can take it. How many European astronomers, they spend all their life studying Nazca lines? At the end, hypothesis. Nazcas were like a Japan, China, USA, or any countries that they are now in the first world. Top, knowledgeable people. Nazcas. Paracas were the doctors. Cranial trepanation, surgical operations. Incredible culture in medicine. Now, Tiahuanacos in Bolivia, they were the best architects in this world until now. So Pachacutec was surrounded by those cultures. And he says, okie dokie. This is my time. So he expanded his culture, organizing his army little by little to all around South America. Please, this is the time when all those small and top cultures, they were under control of the Incas. Taking advantage of the knowledge of those cultures, the Incas, they changed the future of this world. That's why Pachacutec was clever. He unified all of those cultures. Maybe I don't know your knowledge, but if you work for me or together with me, you will, my team, our team is gonna have that knowledge also. You understand what I mean? That's why, unfortunately, there were many cultures like Achancas, Araucanos, Antisuyos, my family, Wilcacunas. We hate Incas for 100 years. So we were not happy to be under control of the Incas. What does it mean? Incas, they had enemies. This is why Incas, they built cities after 15th century. Everything on the mountain. Machu Picchu is on the top of the mountain. Sacsayhuaman is on the top of the mountain. Ollantaytambo is on the mountain. Pisac is on the top of the mountain. What does it mean on the top of the mountain? Safer. That's why Incas, before they build the cities like a Machu Picchu or Pisac or anything, any city, first, to be safer city, they build terraces around those mountains. In this case, doesn't matter, it's half meter, 1 meter, because those terraces, the main reason is protection of the land to stop erosion. Inca's foundation is the terraces. My dear friends, Machu Picchu, you've been there, madam? It's sitting on top of Inca terrace. If you go all around, it's surrounded by terraces like that. Without those terraces, many cities, they were going to disappear a long time ago. So first, protection. Incas, they knew this world has 2 seasons, dry season, wet season. Dry season, this mountain is drying. Look at that, it's brown already. Next month it's not gonna have vegetation. But unfortunately, this is our mountain drugstore. This is my drugstore. My mother, she never went to the drugstore when I was sick. I need medicine. She used to go to the mountain. or to my gardens. My mother never went to the hospital to have 11 children. Because my father was midwife, my uncle was midwife also. You understand what I mean? This is Incas, this is Mayas, this is Aztec, this is all the ancient cultures around the world. It's the Incas, they took water for these terraces from miles and miles away by means of channels and aqueducts. They have irrigation. So this was always with crops all year around, no two seasons, no dry season, no wet season.
We're walking this trail going to the top of the Pisac storage or temple. About maybe 9,000 feet. But it takes your breath away. Gotta walk slowly. This is how we burn calories here in Peru. After the lecture, I'm walking up the top of the hill, the background. You could see some terraces here and the burial right there. But walking here, you gotta take your time because you're still at high altitude. But imagine them, the Incas, they're able to walk up and down these things without any problem. I'm at the very top of this ruins, well, almost at the very top. And as I look down, you could see the terraces, people down below. And imagine how difficult they had to do this, create these terraces many years ago by the Incas. Wow, they're great farmers, astronomers, mathematicians, great builders of stone. Look at all this wonderful dessert here. Here in somewhere in Urubamba. After a 2-hour tour of Pisac, you're tired climbing over 9,000 feet. So we arrive at Tunupa Hotel for a wonderful buffet of many dishes. I was shocked to see so many kinds of food due to the fact that we are in the middle of nowhere in the mountains surrounding the Urubamba River. I wish we could have tried some cuy, a local delicacy of guinea pigs you find at the roadside. Nevertheless, we got treated to a wide variety of soup, entrees, desserts, and drinks, and enjoyed a good company together. We arrived here at Ollantaytambo. We're gonna find out what it's like here. Our first time, so it's very impressive. 147 steps that we're gonna climb. 147, look at that.
I think it's 247.
247? Oh.
Looks like a flat, looks like a carving. But if you see that sideways, it's like that. That's what.
We're climbing these steps in Ollantaytambo. There are 247 of them. Look at that. My God. This is hard. We have climbed 80% of the steps now. We've got 25% of steps left. Takes a lot of work. So we're one of the sides of Ollantaytambo here. And we're getting close to the very top. So far, we're doing all right. We're gonna conquer Ollantaytambo today. Ollantaytambo is an Inca archaeological site in southern Peru, some 60 kilometers northwest of the city of Cusco, at an altitude about 2,700 meters or 9,160 feet high above sea level. It's in an area called Sacred Valley. It is considered both a temple and a fortress, and it was built around 1440 AD by the Inca Emperor Pachacuti. Archaeologists believe Ollantaytambo was built upon the ruins of a far older city, and they are not sure of the origins of that city. One of the most interesting places in Ollantaytambo is the Gateway to the Gods, which was built several thousand years before the Inca arrived in Ollantaytambo. According to researchers, it was built by a culture called Urinpacha, but researchers have no idea who they were, where they came from, or where they went. The earliest parts of Ollantaytambo dates to at least 12,000 years old, if not older. Ollantaytambo is a marvel of engineering and architecture. Many questions have been raised regarding the construction of this ancient site. The most asked question is how the incredible sized blocks of stones were built and carried to the top of the mountain. In particular interest are 6 of these stones placed in the line. These stones, some of which weigh over 50 tons, have almost perfect angles, and in some cases as smooth as glass. Engineers and logistic experts say to move these rocks, one would need to have power tools and different power vehicles. It's not easy to bring up a stone block that weighs 50 tons up a mountain. And just to think that this was accomplished without the aid of some sort of technology is just illogical. So the big question is, how did the ancients manage to cut these rocks out of the mountain, then transport them across the plains, bring these heavy stones across the river, and then bring them up and position them up the mountain? This is a big mystery that no one has answered yet. As I leave Ollantaytambo, I am struck with awe and wonderment of how such an ancient civilization was able to construct huge megalithic stones that defies human logic and engineering. This is definitely another archaeological site of the world that one has to see to believe it.